Hey everyone, we'll be talking about how Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson spends his money. When you're one of the highest paid stars in Hollywood, you can kinda get away with spending money on all those little luxuries. Since his time as The Rock in the WWE, Dwayne Johnson has become a household name for more than just his wrestling skills. Ever wondered what someone worth $220 million splashes their cash on? It's not just massive mansions and fancy cars, as The Rock certainly knows how to have a bit of fun with his money.
So, cheers, drinking tequila to you guys, thank you.
Make sure you stay till the end so you don't miss the most unbelievable thing that The Rock spends his hard-earned cash on. Before we get started, just click subscribe and bell notification so you don't miss any new awesome content. How he earns it. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood. According to Forbes, the former WWE star made $124 million in 2018, doubling his 2017 earnings. Back then, he beat out the likes of Robert Downey Jr. and his Fast and Furious co-star Vin Diesel in the ranking. One of the hardest working people in show business, Johnson stars in movies like Moana and San Andreas, and on TV shows like HBO's Ballers. He also endorses products and runs his own production company where he creates starring roles for himself like Rampage, Baywatch, Skyscraper, and Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. The move makes sense. He's enormously popular on Instagram where he has more than 140 million followers. How he spends his money. He bought his own gym. You don't get to look like The Rock unless you spend serious time in the gym, and that's what the Hollywood star does. Every day. Not content with sharing his workout space with the public, Johnson built himself his very own gym in his backyard. He calls it Iron Paradise, and it is filled to the brim with the latest exercise equipment, helping Johnson get into the best shape of his life. It's a 45,000-pound gym that he brings along wherever he goes on his movies. With Iron Paradise being so close, the film star can just roll out of bed and straight into the gym. Private jet. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is the highest earning actor in Hollywood, so it makes sense that he also owns one of the world's most expensive and, according to him, fastest private jets. His Gulfstream G650 is worth around $65 million, beating out pretty much every other aircraft on this list. And the former wrestler's photos outside his ride, which he posts online, are almost as iconic as he is. To be fair though, nobody who travels frequently wants to spend half their life in airport terminals, and with his fortune, Johnson has the option not to. Football. Johnson found fame as a professional wrestler, but amazingly, that wasn't his first sporting love. While at college, The Rock played football. He was looking set for an amazing future, but during his time playing at the University of Miami, his hopes were dashed. Johnson suffered an injury, and that spelled the end of his football career. Although he never made it, Johnson still has a lot of love for the game and actually donated $1 million to the University of Miami's football team. Giving back to his fans. The Hollywood megastar tries to give back to the fans who helped make him what he is today. He has even become an ordained minister, allowing him to marry fans as a surprise. When he is unable to make appointments with fans, he still finds a way to make them smile. Recently, he couldn't visit a fan, so instead arranged for them and their friends to watch his movie Rampage in a movie theater. The bonus was that Johnson paid for everybody's candy, popcorn, and soda. Fancy suits. The Rock has spent the past 20 years getting into serious shape, and he looks incredible, especially when you consider he is pushing 50. While his body is one to envy for many people, The Rock's fashion sense hasn't been forgotten about. He looks good no matter what he wears. Johnson makes sure when he steps onto that red carpet, he is looking sharp in fancy suits. No expenses are spared when it comes to the best threads, and Johnson's movie success means there are plenty of red carpet appearances. Expensive cars. If you're going to earn hundreds of millions of dollars, then some of that cash is going to have to be spent having a blast. One way Johnson likes to get his heart racing is to spend millions on his exotic car collection. There is one car that stands out from the rest, and it is this, Pagani Huayra. Johnson owns one of the 100 that were made, It costs $1.3 million and is incredibly fast, racing from 0 to 60 in just 2.9 seconds. Charity. The Rock comes across as a generous soul, and with so much money coming his way, he likes to give back to others if he can. Although he is one of the busiest actors in the world, Johnson devotes plenty of his time visiting those less fortunate than him. He also spends much of his money to help others and has set up the Dwayne Johnson Rock Foundation to do precisely that. Through his foundation, Johnson helps the lives of many children, while also trying to help them achieve their fitness goals. Skincare. There's no denying that The Rock looks great, but it's not just because of his muscular physique. Johnson eats well, which helps him to look younger. And to give his skin an extra youthful look, he loves spending money on his skincare regimen. One of The Rock's skincare products is that to be the famed La Mer cream, which costs an astonishing $300 per pot. While he might drop $300 on a pot of cream, he also likes to buy regular stuff too. Maintaining his diet. The Rock needs to eat around 5,000 calories per day to give his body the fuel it needs. He eats mountains of food, but mostly it is good for him. To give himself a break from eating healthy, Johnson regularly schedules a cheat day, allowing him to break from his strict diet. One of his favorite cheats is sushi. Property. Like many of the most famous celebrities, Johnson needs a fancy place to live, and this is the place he once called home in Miami. The mansion in South Florida cost $4.5 million and comes equipped with more than enough space. The backyard alone is 2.5 acres, while the entire property spans across 13,000 square feet. With 5 bedrooms and a garage big enough to fit 6 cars, The Rock's money was well spent. Cheat meal.
I'll say that again. It's a cheat day, not a cheat meal.
A day.
A day.
Johnson loves a big meal on his cheat days, and while his favorite treat might be sushi, there is one meal that's not far behind. Pizza is one of The Rock's favorite foods, and it's safe to say that Johnson is a fan of the cheesy meal. He regularly orders 3 pizzas on a cheat day, and that's just for himself. No matter where you get your pizza from, you'll never be disappointed. After all, even bad pizza is still pizza, although Johnson can afford the finest pizzas money can buy. Dog workout equipment. It isn't just himself that Johnson looks out for. He also has the interests of his family to consider. One of the most cherished members of his family is his dog Hobbs, the super cute French bulldog. Wanting to treat his pet as much as he treats his family, Johnson bought his little 4-legged friend some workout equipment of his very own. Working out is a daily habit for Johnson, and now Hobbs can get his very own workout too by joining his papa in the Iron Paradise. Expensive watches. To make sure he is able to keep up with his busy schedule, The Rock has bought himself some very expensive aids, his watches. Over time, Johnson has developed an expensive taste, and one thing he loves to buy are watches, with Rolex being one of his favorite brands. He owns a $35,000 Rolex and another cheaper but still not affordable $14,000 timepiece. Not content sticking to just one brand, Johnson also has a $12,000 Panari Luminar watch in his collection. Producing movies. After finding great success in film, Johnson wanted to have a go at making his own productions. 7 Bucks Production Company was co-founded by Johnson and his ex-wife Dani Garcia. The company is responsible for the hugely successful sports drama Ballers and action movie Baywatch, both starring The Rock. 7 Bucks' latest project was Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, a reboot of the 90s adventure classic. The name 7 Bucks comes from the amount of money Johnson had in his wallet when he was cut from the Canadian Football League. Johnson spends his time jetting around the world, starring in and promoting his many films. That often means he has to spend lots of his time holed up in hotel rooms rather than staying at his home with his family. Johnson spends thousands of dollars each year staying in some of the most luxurious hotels in the world, often converting his rooms to makeshift offices. He would probably rather stay at home, but his success means Johnson has to travel the world, forced to live in luxury while on the road. COD. In 2015, he revealed his diet to Muscle and Fitness, and 538 counted it all up and found that Johnson consumed 821 pounds of cod in a year. Given that cod goes for about $1.75 a pound, that means he was spending about $1,400 per year on fish. That's all for today's video. If you stayed till the end, subscribe and leave a comment, and your comment will get a heart. Don't believe me? You should try it for yourself.